Hello, my dear students. I welcome you all and I wish you the best time of the day, whichever time you are watching this video. And of course, I hope you all are healthy, strong. Today I am going to cover the numerical of physics, especially of electric current and heating effects of electric current. And before we go to numericals of physics, very important thing basically we have to first cover and understand, very important, is that the quantities that usually physics covers or physics has, physics is based on certain quantity, and then when it comes to that quantity we should know the symbol of that quantity, and of course the unit of that quantity and the symbol of unit. These things we have to know first. So right coming from the start, I will first talk about current, which is of course everything is important. Current. When it comes to current, the symbol of current is I. Remember, the symbol of current is I and the unit of current is ampere. And the unit of the symbol of current is A, capital A. Okay, then we have voltage. The symbol of voltage is basically, voltage is nothing but potential difference, both are same, potential difference of voltage. The symbol is capital V and unit is volt, which also is again capital V. Okay, then we have also resistance. The symbol of resistance is capital R, which normally we will be using these symbols in the formulas, and the unit is ohm. The symbol of this is ohm. Okay, we also have charge. Symbol of that is capital Q and unit of this is coulomb, and symbol of this unit is capital C. Okay, this is done most of the times, most of the part. And then we also have, we'll have to go further, power. Symbol is capital P and unit is watt. See, basically here most of them pronounce it watt, but I actually believe that its right pronunciation is watt. And whatever it is, if you are comfortable with watt, you can definitely proceed with it. For me it is watt, and the symbol of that unit is capital W. Of course, apart from this we have got time, distance, which is measured in meter. I'm just not going with that. Distance, which sometimes have capital S, sometimes small s, sometimes small d, and unit of this is meter, which is m. Time also is there, which is important, but we know that this is basically, symbol is small t, unit is seconds usually, and of course small s is the unit of that. Anything else we are missing with? I don't think we have. Heat. One more is heat. Heat produced, heat generated. Symbol of that is capital H and unit of this is joules, and symbol of unit symbol is this. Okay, I think we have covered lots. One is heat generated and other one is heat, rate of heat. They can be two different things. We will go to that later. I hope we have covered plenty of quantities that are concerned with this numericals. Okay, and now if I go further, one thing important that I have to clarify, my dear students, we know that there is a number line. In a number line we know that see, in a number line we know that if I go from here, it is minus 10, this way minus 5. So minus 5, as I go towards the right, the number which is on the right side is supposed to be greater than the number which is on the left hand side. So minus 5 is actually greater than minus 10, and then 0 will be greater than minus 5, then 5 will be greater than 0, and 10 will be greater than this. It is like this. Why I am talking about this is that, remember my dear students, milli x, I am not taking any, it can be anything. Milli is smaller when I compare to the x itself. This can be anything, and kilo x is definitely greater than this. Of course, you still have, here we have micro also, and here we will have mega also. This will go on, this mega, giga, tera, milli, micro, nano, pico. But actually, for your sake, from milli till kilo is more than sufficient. When I mean to say this, now x is what? X is, I can say, ampere. This is what you will be using in standard way, as MKS unit, you will be using ampere. But sometimes you will be given it in milliamperes. In question, it will be given in milliamperes. The milliampere is much smaller unit compared to ampere, and you can definitely go to kiloamperes also. This x is corresponding ampere. It can be anything. It can be volt. At that time I am talking about volt. So here you will be having millivolt. Here you will be having kilovolt. Okay. So this goes on. Ohms, milliohm, kiloohm. Okay. These things happen, of course, but there can be some, like actually meter also we have, meter, millimeter and kilometer. Now why I am telling you this? Because usually we will be using this scale. This scale is needed. But sometimes you have to really handle these other two units also. In the question, if they have given data to you in milliamperes, you will have to need to convert it to amperes. Means they have given the scale of milli, you will have to take it to the scale of x. How do you do that? See my dear students, when you actually go from a smaller scale towards the greater scale, then you divide. You usually divide. If milli is there, any milli x, that will be equal to milli x upon 1000, and then it will be converted to x. Means milliampere, whatever milliampere divided by 1000 will give you ampere. Are you getting? And same, if this x, what I have got, I divide this by 1000 again, that will become kilo x. So if it is milli x, I will have to divide milliampere. I will have to divide milliampere by 1000, whatever the unit, whatever the measurement they have given. Divide that measurement by 1000, it will become ampere. And then that ampere, when again you divide by 1000, it will become kiloampere. Again you divide kiloampere by 1000, it will become mega ampere. Volt, millivolt, you divide that by 1000, you will get volt. Divide that again by 1000, one more 1000, you will get kilovolt. Okay, my dear students, so this is how it works. But usually when you write this, most of the times when you write this, so what they will write it as, whatever is this milli x, instead of writing upon 1000, they will write into -3. See, this actually is nothing but 10 cube. 10 cube, when you shift it to the numerator, the power of the sign will change. It will become minus cube. 10 raised to the power of -3. Okay, so that is way x, when you multiply this by 10 raised to the power of -3, then you will get kilo x. Okay, my dear student, so actually it can be in this fashion, and similarly you can go in the reverse fashion. Sometimes you will be given in kiloamperes and you want it to convert it into amperes. If it is kiloamperes and you want it to convert it to amperes, so kiloampere multiplied by 1000 will give you amperes. Okay, that means kiloampere into 10 raised to the power of 3, you can say like this. If you go towards the smaller one, so you have to multiply by +3, positive cube, 10 raised to the power of cube. And when you go towards higher scale, then you have to multiply by the negative power. Okay, I hope you all are getting this. If you understand this, just pay attention. Slight amount of revision is needed, and then some conversions we will require, then we will definitely follow through that. So okay, with this we can proceed further, and for now what we have to understand is that some formulas. So you have understood this. This is again very important. This is needed. Without this, nothing. And remember, my dear students, units are your true friends. Units are your true friends. In numerical, whatever confusion they may create while presenting the question, who is which value or which magnitude is of which quantity. Like example, if they are talking about the voltage in the wire having resistance 10 ohms is and carrying current 5 ampere is 5 ohms. Now here they may have jumbled this. They have written somewhere the current, they have written somewhere the potential difference, they have written somewhere the resistance, and they have written the value somewhere. But as long as it is 5 ohm, as long as it is 10 volts, so the 10 volts is basically potential difference, is basically V. 5 ohms is resistance and R. You don't have to actually trace English language. Units will definitely guide you. Those magnitudes are actually of what? Which quantity? So stick to the units. Units are really your true friends. And then, of course, the formulas. You have to know the formulas by heart. The most important formula is Ohm's law. I hope you know this Ohm's law topic itself is very important, the statement of Ohm's law, and then the formula for Ohm's law, which actually says V is equal to IR. And then because of this, V is equal to IR, we get I is equal to V upon R, or it is also equal to R is equal to V upon I. You may use any, you may not require to remember this. You may remember only one formula, any one formula that you are comfortable with, and then you will be able to use the Ohm's law. Okay, of course, Ohm's law is a big topic. The graph and everything you have to remember properly. Okay, understand it properly. Ohm's law. And then we have one more formula. Q is equal to IT. Charge is equal to current into time. Okay, this may not require many number of times in numerical itself, but sometimes we may require it in the derivation of the formulas actually. Okay, this is done, and then we have to go through power, P is equal to V I. Power is equal to voltage into current, and because of this VI, we will have even more formulas. Power is equal to, now V we know, V is equal to IR. IR into I will give you I square R. IR into I will give you I square R. Also, because one more thing, instead of V I can write IR. Instead of V I will write IR, it will become I square R. Or instead of I can write V upon R. That will become power is equal to V square upon R. There can be many more also, but still this is more than sufficient. Okay, there can be many more also. If I write here again, we can make some more changes over here. But this is more than sufficient, I think. This is their power, and then we have got heat produced. There are two questions, heat produced and rate of heat. Rate of heat is different and heat produced is different. Heat produced is only the heat produced over there in that time, total heat produced. Here basically it is going to be power into time. Any device is there, any bulb is there, and it will produce how much heat, it will depend on two factors: the power of the bulb, what is the wattage of the bulb, 50 watt bulb, and then you are glowing it for what time. Accordingly the heat will be produced. On these two things the heat will be produced. One is power and one is time. So that's why heat produced is equal to power into time. And because we have got lots of other formulas for T, so we get over here, it is simplest one, H is equal to I square R T. This is also one formula. This is in joules. And same thing, one more thing, I square RT, these all are in joules. Same I square RT upon 4.18, I suppose, calories. Okay, when I can get this in calories, I have to divide that same thing by 4.18. Slight question mark over here. Let's see. Okay, and heat is, so we have got the formula for heat is power into time, or it is also equal to I square RT into joules. These are both in joules. And do we have anything else? These are more, these two are more than sufficient for you all to handle. One thing you have to understand, rate of heat means how fast the heat is produced. That will not depend on time at all. Why? See, basically rate is always depend on time. Rate of anything, when they ask you to find the rate of anything, rate of velocity, there is nothing like that, I am just telling you all people, will be velocity upon time. Are you getting this? When you are, basically rate is usually in physics, in commercial languages, rate is always dependent on quantity. Rate is always dependent on quantity. Like 30 rupees per dozen, 30 rupees for every dozen. It is dependent on quantity. In physics, most of the times, rate is dependent on time, most of the time, especially in motions and all, it is dependent on time. So it is always velocity upon time will give you the rate of velocity. Rate of work done. So work done is how much work upon time. How fast the work is being done. Okay. So the rate is always like that. So basically it is always upon time. So basically rate of heat also will be heat upon time. But then heat, we know it is power into time upon time. So this will go and it will depend only on power. How fast the heat is going to be generated because of the bulb, it will not depend on time. It will depend on the power of the bulb. If power of the bulb is large, it will produce heat faster. If the power of the bulb is less, then how much ever time, it is not time dependent. The speed of heat, rate of heat is nothing but the speed of heat produced. How fast the heat is going to be generated, it is not dependent on time, it is dependent on power. The rate of heat is always equal to only power. Okay, my dear students, do I have anything left? One more thing, yes, of course. Energy consumed. See, when a bulb is glowing, it is definitely giving heat, it is producing heat. While it is producing this heat, this bulb which is of 50 watt is producing a heat. At that time it is also consuming energy, it is consuming electricity. The bulb is consuming electricity. And what will be the energy consumed by the bulb? It is also going to be power into time. Both are going to be same. Because it is physics, my dear students. It is only the change of form. Electrical energy is converted into heat energy. So how much heat energy will be created, how much electrical energy is consumed, that much heat energy will be generated. Simple. So electrical energy consumed will be equal to the heat energy produced. That's why both will be having same formula. Heat produced, power into time. Whatever is the power of the bulb, 50 watt, 100 watt, whatever is the power of the bulb, how long it is going to be glowing, that will be the, accordingly the heat will be produced. Similarly, how long it will be glowing, accordingly it will be consuming the energy, electrical energy. So energy consumed and heat produced both will be having the same formula, power into time. But there is one more. Why I am going to this topic is that most of the time, not most of the times, few number of times they will ask you the question based on commercial meters. Not exactly commercial meters, but because in our social language, we have got two type of meters. One is residence meter, one is commercial meter. But when we talk about science, from science point of view, we have commercial meter. Even the residence meter is a commercial meter, because basically you are selling energy. So it is commercial meter. When we are actually going to find the cost of the energy consumed, when you are using your electric meter in your house, so when you are needed to be billed for that, your bill is supposed to be made for that. At that time, you should know what is the bill you are going to have. And to know the bill that you are going to have, two things are important. One is that you will be knowing the two things are important for making your bill. Cost of energy, actually unit. You must have heard this unit, how many units you have consumed, and then per unit they will be having one rate fixed, 10 rupees per unit, 5 rupees per unit, 3 rupees per unit. That is there, the rate of unit is there. And you should know the energy consumed. Energy consumed. Bill will be always, cost will be always equal to energy consumed into rate of unit. Energy consumed into rate of unit. Energy consumed is what you know, power into T, and rate will be, of course, whatever is the money the government, that question will be telling you. But here what is the thing that you have to understand? In commercial meter, energy, when the consuming cost is, when the question is based on billing to be made, the energy consumed is always equal to, now here the energy consumed is power into T. Power ka unit is watt seconds. This is the energy consumed. Watt seconds. This is the energy consumed, or we can also call it as joules. This is also called as joule. This is the energy, because a unit of energy is joule. This much energy is consumed. But when it comes to energy consumed in case of when you are going to make a bill, at that time you will use the same formula, but power into time will be found in kilowatt hour. Means that time, even if your power is given to you in watt, 50 watt, 10 watt, 2 watt, you will first convert it into kilowatt by dividing it by 1000. And then time, whatever they have given you, that time you will have to convert it to hour. If they have given it already in hour, then it is fine. You will have to keep it in hour. But if they have given it in minutes, then you will have to convert it to hour by dividing that time by 60. And that you are going to use the energy consumed. To make the bill, it is going to be this multiplied by the rate. This you have to be cautious. This is the only topic where the energy is consumed is in kilowatt hour. Otherwise, everywhere power is always in watt and time is always in seconds. Okay, my dear students, I hope you have understood this. Kindly take down these notes or take a screenshot and be ready to start with the numerical of this topic. Okay, my dear students, so soon I will come back with this first you have to be very strong with all these things, formulas and all, and then we can definitely start with the numerical. Thank you, my dear students. I shall start soon.